What's up? What's up? How's it, everybody? It's Ulu. I'm back with part two of I Talk Pidgin. That's my native language. This is part two. I had to give them that name, give it this name because I wanted people to understand when they see the title, um, that I talk Pidgin, and my title on my cover says offensive talk. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, people, I tend to offend people when I speak. So, in this video is part two, and I'm just going to talk about things that I say, things that I do, um, like how much of this is really an issue for me. I don't want to say it's an issue because then that's just like I gotta change the way I talk. I gotta change the way I am. I gotta change who I have done a lot of changing in my life, let me tell you. Especially within this past 6 years. I've had what they call a glow up. I feel like at the age that I am, only now I had one glow up because you know why? My mentality is different. My mentality my mentality is not of a limited like one island. Like, okay, for example, in Hawaii, you can only go around the island. That's all you can go. You cannot just drive off the island into the ocean and drive to another island. You cannot do that. Um, so one road trip is if you just go around the island, the big island, if you just go around the big island, you can go around the island within 6 hours. That's stopping, eating food and whatnot. But normally, when we say we're going on one road trip, we're going around the island. Now, for some people, it's going to be like just one circle. Okay, just imagine one circle, and you can only drive around the perimeter of that circle. Of course, the island is not a circle. Um, but my mentality level really was limited to the size or the perimeters of the island because that's all I've ever known. I have never known anything else. And I'm sure this goes a lot for many people like myself. I've I went to the mainland. I went to California when I was like 7, and then I went to Florida when I was like 9. But other than that, I never did leave the island. I never did come to Vegas until I moved here. Like it was just on a whim, like for real kind, like boom, I just didn't grab my stuff and I said, you know what? We're going. We're going. And I came here and it was a real culture shock to me. It was a real culture shock to me. And, in part one, I explained about the weather and I explained the heat and the cold and everything. But let me tell you, the language barrier, there is a freaking language barrier. Okay? There is. So before I really get into it, let me just say a couple things in Pidgin, which now they call it Hawaiian Creole. I will never call it that really. I will never really call it Hawaiian Creole. I will always say I talk Pidgin. Period. I talk Pidgin. That's what I do. Grr, grr, I talk Pidgin. Nah. But I'm gonna say a couple things in Pidgin, and I'm gonna say them, and maybe some of you can interpret. Okay, if you know me, if you live in Vegas and you know me, you know how I talk. Maybe you can interpret what I saying. Hey, you know the kind. Oh, cuz, what's up? Nah, I don't think so. Huh? What you like? You know the kind I seen him the other day. And you know what? You know what he told me? He told me he was the kind for a long time. Yeah, bruh. He no could move. Yeah, bruh. I was tripping. You know what? You gotta learn how to do that. Actually, you know what I say? Huh? I told him, bruh, not do that kind stuff. You know what I mean? You cannot do that kind. What is it? Hold on 1 second, please. We have a notification. Okay, Kalamai, I had one notification. I had to check them. It's important. Okay. It's important. Go check them, go check them, go check them, go.
You must make sure this wine is not too sweet, not too rancid, but just right, okay? So, go check the wine with Auntie. Go check your wine now. Go check them now. Go check them now. Go. Go check your wine now. Go check them now. Go check them now. Go.
Okay. I went over some phrases that you can say that or you can hear Hawaii people say how they talk. But I wanted to get into deeper conversation about Pidgin English. The one thing you gotta understand about Pidgin is that the language is made up of many words from different cultures that came to Hawaii back in the whatever 1800s, early 19s or whatever, whenever they would migrate. However, Portuguese came, Spaniards came, Filipinos came, Japanese came, what else? um different cultures over the years. The Puerto Ricans came, um and they all spoke different languages. They all had to live in one community. They all had to thrive. They all settled, and they all had to build in this community. And with the Hawaiian language, okay, with the Hawaiian language, also the native language of the islands, um understand that Pidgin English is an evolved native language because of the years and the years of immigrants coming to Hawaii and living amongst each other. They needed to find one way to communicate with each other, and so they taught each other different words, very directive, like bocha, gobade. Yeah, so people needed to learn how to communicate with each other. So like I said, they taught each other their words. Like oh my gosh, why can't I think of words? Like bocha means to go bathe. Digos, it means to go bathe. Bocha, so Japanese. Bocha is Japanese. It means to splash. Wash your ass. But bocha actually means to splash. It's Japanese. Digos, I do believe is Ilocano. That means to wash. Even the word au au, that's a Hawaiian word. Au au, you tell your kids go au au. That means to go wash your wash your body. Wash your your culo. It actually means swim, but it has turned into a slang, and it means to bathe. So when you say, oh, you tell your kids, you better go out, that means get in the shower and wash your culo. Culo, I do believe, is Puerto Rican for your butt. Okole is Hawaiian. Okole is the butthole. That's the okole. Elemu is your cheeks. So there's different words that have been blended together, which makes Pidgin English. So it's a form of broken English with mixed words from different cultures, and you can use that shit in one sentence. So that is a how. That is a how. That's not Pidgin, that's just me stuttering. That is how Pidgin English started in Hawaii. Hawaii. That's the proper way. Hawaii is the Caucasian way of saying Hawaii. It is pronounced Hawaii. Hawaii. Um, everybody say Hawaii. Hawaii. Even local people, even local people say Hawaii because it's just so common. That's one Pidgin term. So I'm gonna have to um tell a little bit about my history as a child, where I grew up. So I was born on the island of Oahu, Waimanalo. At that time, my parents and my two older sisters was living in Waimanalo. Um, then I do believe when I was about a year old, we moved to Maui. That's where my dad is from. My dad is from Lahaina, and we moved to I think we moved to Waikapu. That's the east side of Maui. And it's not pronounced Maui, it's pronounced Maui. 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 That's the correct pronunciation. And we lived in Waikapu, and we moved to, I don't know, maybe if my Ohana see this, they might correct me. So if they do, that's awesome. Excuse me. Um, we moved to Pakukalu. Yes, we moved to Pakukalu. That is Wai'ahu side. Ukali Street. I'm getting a little bit specific over here. So I started growing up on that side of the island, towards Wai'ahu side. And my father was island boy, and my father talked full on Pidgin. Full on. There was no way that he could ever speak properly. There was no way that he could ever speak properly because he grew up Lahaina. He grew up in Lahaina, island boy. And in those days, they never really push proper speaking. That's how my dad talked. That's the part. When my dad, when you explain something, when he explains something to you, and you go, oh yeah, dad, yeah, that's why he went over there, yeah. He go, that's the part. That's his language. That's the part. Now on social media, I see that part. That part means specific to a certain part of a conversation or whatever have you, or a post or quote or whatever. Meaning, yes, I agree. That's it right there. That's facts. That's 100. So I stay over here, kind of like translating for you guys. Um, Shout out to Generation X. We're not that oblivious to the evolving times of how Generation Z talk and all that. So, um, my mother was raised differently. Of course, yes, island girl, born and raised on the in the islands too. Um, yeah, my mom spoke Pidgin. She spoke Pidgin. She spoke Pidgin when she was pissed off. Okay, she spoke Pidgin when she was trying to not give us crap. Okay, she spoke Pidgin when she was irritated. But for the most part, my mom was a real career woman, and she dealt with the tourists. She worked in the tourist industry, the hotel industry, and she had to really learn how to speak properly. And I tell you, if my mother was here today, she'd be like, "Girl, I don't know. You better learn how to speak properly because, like, she would scold me. Honestly, she would. She would. Stop sounding ignorant." Grandmother, my mom's side. My grandmother was part Hawaiian and part Haole, and she grew up very missionary style, so very proper. She grew up very proper. She learned how to have etiquette at the dining room table, at the dinner table. She learned how to present herself um, in a formal fashion when meeting new people or going places. And she believed that there's a time and place to speak your native language. She believed that there was a time and place to speak formal. And yeah, I was the one child, and hopefully my cousin Corey can see this. I'm gonna send this to her because she can tell you how I used to talk when I was young. like okay, if I got hurt and my leg was hurt, I would say my leg sore. And there was one word that I always got teased by her because what your leg sore, cousin? Because I say sore instead of sore. My leg is sore. So, I'm going to either say my leg sore or but the thing hurt. I'm talking about my legs. The thing is my leg and the thing hurt. But it was really, really bad when I was young. It was really, really bad when I I remember hearing a conversation that my grandmother was having with my mother. I used to go to Oahu every summer and spend the summer with my grandmother, my grandfather, my cousins, my aunties, uncles, all that. And I used to spend summers over there, 3 months. That's when summer was 3 months long, not this freaking 6 weeks, okay? It was 3 months long. And I remember hearing a conversation that my mom was having with my grandmother on the phone. And I can hear my grandmother's voice now. My grandma's voice is saying, "Your daughter's language, your daughter's English is very bad." Sh- it's very bad. So, guess what? At Alamoana, upstairs at Sears, Sears, Alamoana Shopping Center, Sears, they had a program. I don't know what the program was called, but it was just called Charm School. Charm School. My sister went, my older sister went, and I went, and because I had to go, my cousin wanted to go because my cousin, she grew up, my cousin is half Hawaiian, I mean, is part Haole, part Filipino, and part Hawaiian. But she grew up in Oahu, so Oahu is the city life, so it's kind of different, yeah. Where I grew up in Oahu is country, 100% country. And it's sad because it's crowded now. But she knew how to speak properly because that's the way her parents spoke to her. My father never speak proper to us. He never. Mind you, I used to play with other boys when I was young. It was mostly boys that was living on my street, and so I played with them. And shit, I remember 5th grade. I freaking got into a fight with one boy. He would push me, and I grab sand and I'd whip him in his face. Anyways, yeah, he was 1 year older than me, but She sent me to charm school, and I literally had to learn how to introduce myself. I had to go on this runway or this catwalk, walk with my dress. I was probably about, I don't know if my cousin can see this, maybe like 10 years old, maybe. I don't know. And I had to walk down this thing and walk up to this microphone and learn how to introduce myself. I had to learn how to confidently say, "Hi, my name is, and I am blah, 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 blah." And I had to say, I don't know if we had to say one speech or what. You know something, I was so nervous about it because I realized that shit. Yeah, no matter what, I always go and talk like this. I always go. There's times where I try to speak properly, and especially when my son was young, I used to try to speak properly to him because I never had that when I was younger. My children, when they're babies like that, I try to speak proper with them, but now they know me. I talk pidgin, they understand. My girls, however, do not talk pidgin. So for me to be sitting here and actually thinking about those days, I know that I can speak proper. I know I can speak proper. And in my other video, part one, I said I have a limited vocabulary. And I listened to it and I was like, I don't know. That sounds stupid. What I meant is that I don't have hyperbolical words in my vocabulary because when with Pidgin English, everything is very direct. You don't really have to use hyperbolical vocabulary and long words because people in Hawaii, people understand what you mean. Like if somebody is hold on, I gotta do some research, yeah, on some hyperbolical word. So the word that I wanted to use for what I'm going to say right now, um if somebody is acting inappropriately, okay, gosh, I cannot believe I had to Google that. If somebody's behavior is inappropriate, meaning they could be just doing all kind crazy things, um you know, acting a fool or making trouble, disturbing the peace or whatever. And if I see somebody in public acting inappropriately, like just for example in the grocery store, right? Just say they freaking starting to lose their shit in the store or whatever. That's what I'm gonna say. Oh, the brother was acting up, brother, act up. Or okay, another example is if my children, my two oldest. And you know what? God bless them because they're in Hawaii together right now. My oldest went to Hawaii to back home to go see her ohana on her dad's side. And yeah, my side too, my sisters and my nieces and everybody on that side. So she's there right now. Shout out to my baby girl, my baby ho'onani. I love you. Hope you're having a great time. But yeah, for example, if my kids was acting out in the store, if there was, their behavior was bad, like they was fighting with each other, this is what I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them, you know what? No act up in the store, okay? Before we go in the store, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys right now. No act up with me in the store. That's how I'm gonna say. That's how I'm gonna say 'em. No act up with me in the store, okay? Let's have a good time. And you know what? When they was young, it never fails. They would always act up in the store. And nowadays, you know can physically correct your children in public because somebody gonna turn you in. So I had to learn subtle ways to let them know that when they get in the car, watch out. I used to tell them when they would act up in the store at me, I used to say to them, "What, you hungry? What, you hungry?" And if they say no, I used to say, "You sure?" "Yes, ma, I sure." Because they know I'm gonna tell them. Because if you're hungry, I get crackers in the car. You know what that means, huh? That means when you get in the car, because you was acting up in the store, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. So I'll be like, "Yeah, you sure? You sure?" See, even the way I say store, sure, store. That's how I talk. Now, people over here, if I tell them something like, "You gotta learn how to do that," I'm just, it's just informational. It's informational. That sentence right there is just informational. It means nothing. It's informational. It's telling you that you need to learn how to do something because you don't know how. But people will take offense to it. Offense. People will take offense to that statement. So if I was to say, if I say in the sweetest tone, you gotta learn how to do that. They're still going to think like, they're going to think that I telling them that they're stupid or like, oh my God. No, I just saying that because that's just information. You know, and properly, the proper way to say it, it would be like, that is something that we need to work on. So, that is, yeah, that is something that we need to work on so you know how to do it. Or that is something that you need to learn so the next time this happens, boom, 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 you know what to do. You know? But it's so direct. Pidgin English is so direct that people freaking get offended and I get in trouble. I get in trouble. And then at the same time, people not tell full truths. They lie. So, you know what? TH is pronounced T. It's pronounced T or D. Like think, I say tink. Instead of me saying I think that's where we're going. I think that's where we're going. I'm going to say, I think that's where I got to go. Or, oh no, that's not the place we have to go. I don't think we got to go over there. I don't think over there. I don't think that's the place. I don't think that's not over there. I mean, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to talk like this till the day I die. However, when I'm at work, I don't fully talk like this. I don't fully talk pidgin. Let me tell you, when I'm with my cousin though, when I'm with my cousin, people around us here in Vegas have heard us talk and they're like, my goodness, you speaking one different language. And yeah, I had to learn how to turn it on and off. And even still, I I still get in trouble when I try to turn it on because it doesn't come out. It doesn't come out right. It doesn't. And one thing I'm going to tell you about local people from Hawaii, they're very passionate. They're very passionate people. And that is just part of who we are. We're very passionate. Normally, people of culture are very passionate about their culture and when they gotta do stuff, when they gotta do things, when they gotta invest their time and energy into it, they put their all. And I speak for all the local people that was born and raised in the Hawaiian culture and the local culture and the family unit. Like In Hawaii, family is number one. Family is important. Family is definitely important. However, you get some family members that really, mix with, but okay, that's just one other topic. We're not gonna get into that. But just so there's an understanding of what I'm dealing with, almost on a daily basis, and I'm gonna be honest, this is something that I'm working towards. Even when I have to type out papers, or when I'm creating my content and I'm trying to make a point and make sure that I describe or give a good description, or um get a point across, I always, always, always have a hard time. And it sounds like sometimes I'm repeating myself over and over and over and over and over. And yeah, it's kind of difficult sometimes. But if you guys like learn any pidgin English, you know what? And even at work too. Even at work, I'll use Hawaiian words. I'll use Hawaiian words when I'm speaking to my coworkers. And I'll be like, oh yeah, when I power do this, I'm gonna come back. But they understand me already. I've been working over there for 2 years, and most of them understand me. What was that? Freaking bug. Um, yeah, I've been working there for 2 years. And most of them understand me. They know what I'm talking about. Now the new people that come on, whew, sometimes they get a hard time understand me, and you know, that can cause pilikia, trouble, conflict, problems. anyways, anyways. I just want to thank you guys for joining. If you have any comments, questions about the Pidgin English language, I will not. It's been called Hawaiian Creole. Okay, whatever. Hawaiian Creole. That's the Americanized term. That's the Americanized term for Pidgin English. Okay, so Hawaiian Creole. Look it up. Pidgin English. If you guys like, you know what? You gotta go check out. I'm gonna put the link below. You guys gotta check out Raps Hawaii. Reiplinger is a legendary comedian that passed away years ago. He was in the 80s, and he was great. He's definitely a legend. Another one is Andy Bumatai. They talk Pidgin. Okay, they talk full Pidgin. Another one is Angie T. Brother talk Pidgin. So those are three people that I know of that talk full Pidgin, comedians in Hawaii, and from old school, because Augie T is old school already, because my son used to watch Augie T when he was young. But yes, he still love Augie T. I'm sure he still loves Augie T. Augie T is Filipino Portuguese, like my son. That's why he can understand. Anyways, I just want to say a shout out to all my followers and my subscribers before I go, my new subscribers. And you know what? Thank you guys for sticking with me and watching my shows, and, about women empowerment. And I hope this video is empowering to people who have a language barrier, not just people from Hawaii and all that. Um, I really, really, this was completely like totally just spontaneous, because this was something that is weighs heavy on me, the way I talk, and I refuse to change. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change, but at the same time, I do have to grow. You know what I mean? I do have to grow, and I do have to do better. So, anyways, guys, yeah, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, anything you like say, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Like and subscribe. Share this video. And I hope you guys found this educational. So, yeah, and guess what? I'm on vacation. Karen. Letters.